Welcome to the Unheard Outsider. In this episode, we will be welcoming two new co-hosts to the Unheard Outsider family, Erin Rust and Nicole Gugliotti. Come on into our space and enjoy the conversation.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Unheard Outsider. We have two amazing people who have applied to be the co-host for the show. For those that's not working here at South Puget Sound Community College, I put a call out to get some more voices and perspectives at the table. We had two amazing people reach out and inquire. And so this is going to be the ribbon cutting of who those two people are. They are here in the room today. I'm super excited to move forward with these two amazing co-hosts that we'll have. First unveiling or ribbon cutting is Erin Rust. Erin, tell the people in the room who you are and what you do.
Hi, everyone. I'm Erin Rust. I use she, her pronouns, and my position at South Puget Sound Community College is an outreach and admissions specialist. So I do outreach within the community to help people understand what the college is all about and how they can become students, and also liaise with different organizations. So that's what I do at SPSCC. Yeah.
Awesome. The next unveiling is my wonderful dear friend, Nicole.
Hey, y'all. My name is Nicole Gugliotti, and I am the art studio technician at SPSCC. That means that I do a bunch of different things to support the staff and students and faculty in the art department. And sometimes beyond, we sometimes get to do some outreach around the school and the community as well. And I'm really happy to be here. Thanks for having me, Q.
Of course. Thank you both for applying. I think one of the things that a lot of people would like to know is, really what made you apply. So let's go ahead and let's start with Nicole. What piqued your interest in applying to be a co-host for a show?
Well, I think I first got interested. I was listening to one of the episodes. It was one of the 2-part episodes with Aaron Jones. And you said something in the episode that really touched me. It was about just anger and tenderness. And also with listening to the episodes, I was thinking sometimes I want to know a little more about Q. So when you put the call out, I thought, maybe I'll get a chance to ask you a few questions.
Well, you can.
So okay. I might ask you a few questions.
Well, you can. A lot of people do. And, sometimes they are okay with the response. And sometimes they may be a little uneasy.
I'm always impressed with your unapologetic dedication to the truth. And I guess I just meant that I wanted, you to be able to feature a little more in some of the episodes.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I believe that, I do believe the truth sets us free. I do believe that. And I do believe the truth really heals us and moves us forward. And even if the truth hurts, it's a realization of that. But thank you. Well, I'm super excited to have Nicole. I've actually have known Nicole and also in passing on campus with from the art department, and also just when the campus was actually open and we were able to see each other in front of the Starbucks.
Yes.
A lot, getting coffee, A shout out to Still Life, who's bringing back the coffee shop. We will be excited for that grand opening. I'm sure just about everybody will be, because I made a joke to, I think, Parfait and Dave. I'm like, if we don't get food or anything, we're going to eat the executive team because we're here all the day. So that was my little running joke. And so, but I also want to give space also to my other sis in the room, Erin. What inspired you or, got you to want to apply to be on the show?
Thanks. Yeah. Well, I love podcasts, and I think they're a really great way to facilitate conversations that are sometimes a little more difficult to have outside the realm of media, if that makes sense. And for a while now, my goal as an employee has been to overall just really have a positive effect on the people that I work with, be they new students, returning students, current students, other employees, other staff. So I felt like this was a really exciting opportunity for me because I could continue that drive to create positive change and have a positive effect in people's lives. And it's through a medium that I'm really excited and interested in, which is podcasts and conversations. And listening to some of the previous podcast episodes and just hearing people on campus talk about how important this podcast is to them and that they really enjoy spending time with it. It was super exciting to me to hear that there was a space. And I was like, I want to be in that space.
No, it's good. And I'm always humbled and thankful of the amazing support given when this emerged, because it really, I think I may have said this before. I think a lot of people may not know, but we went into COVID, lockdown, and, I think our department really wanted to still figure out what does programming really look like from the center. And I think given we had BWOW happening, of course, as professional development, I'm like, well, we could do a podcast, I guess, so it was kind of like a filler, right? To really keep people engaged. Everyone's working from home, but how do we still realize there's so much more work to be done. There's so much things going on, and how do we still stay connected? And because it almost felt like coming back to campus felt like going on a first date again with the people you've probably worked with for years, because we were just there was no connection in real time in the space, right? So and so I was like, well, hopefully this helps with something. So I'm thankful for everyone. I mean, I know there's regular listeners that, you, Nicole, and I know some folks from financial aid, and there's so many people, that reach out to me and say, thank you for this. A lot of people sometimes feel that although BWOW is important and valued and important for our institution, I think a lot of people, maybe some, but a lot more people maybe, everyone's different with that. But, I think there's still value with the BWOW and, for me, but I think some people also think there's different expectations when we talk about space and authenticity. And so I think a lot of people love the fact that, yes, BWOW is important. We have that, but there's other people that I think connect a little bit more with the podcast because of the maybe I don't, and this is just from what I've been told, is the authenticity, the rawness, the realness, the not shying away from what everyone's thinking in the room. And so that's how it emerged. I'm thankful. My hope is that it continues to grow, and really move into, in-person, live recorded Q&A, bringing people on and really having it as institutional type of standing program, right? Where I don't know, so I have a vision to keep that space sacred enough to allow for people who we might call the radicals or the I don't give a F folks. They need a space too, right? And we need to hear from them, right?
Yeah, I think of BWOW, it's super valuable, but it's very very beginner friendly. It's a great space for folks who are starting to unravel some of this. And look, I'm just starting to unravel it too. But for me, the podcast was somewhere I could go and dig a little deeper and get a little more like nuance and kind of pull apart more complicated threads. So that's definitely one of the reasons I'm excited to be involved and excited for the podcast to exist.
Yes.
And I think, part of the difference between attending like a conference kind of session, like belonging within our walls, and then the podcast is like with the podcast, if you need to hear something repeated, it's easier to just like stop and rewind. And like Nicole said, just kind of like untangle some of those threads at your own pace. Whereas, when you're in a big meeting, like belonging within our walls, there's not that much freedom because you kind of have this structure that's already set in place for you. And that's one of the things that I really like about podcasts too, is because, even if they're recorded live, you still have a little more flexibility with how you interact with it than like a live lecture setting.
I agree with you. And I've always wanted to do something media related, but it just kind of fell on my lap, right? It was kind of like, oh, okay, we need to do programming. Okay, well, maybe do podcasts. Everybody's at home. We can listen and work, and get work done. Some of us do, like we put earbuds in if it's music or something like that to kind of keep our flow and our groove. But I'm thankful. I'm happy it's here. But the one thing too, I would love to make sure to let everybody know is that we've gotten feedback from the campus on what the campus would like to hear. And we went through that thread, and we also want to thank you for taking the time to say, hey, can we have a conversation about this? Because, this is important to me, or I find that this may be important to the campus. Even if it's individual, I'm still okay with that. You know what I mean? Because I want to provide the opportunity to talk about it. So we're excited. We're going to do a mini season this wonderful winter quarter. We have two amazing topics that we are going to show you all, but more importantly, you'll be able to get to hear from the two amazing co-hosts, Nicole and Erin, and them, their perspective, and them also just doing their thing.
The Lenore R. Fuller Gallery presents Black Love, Community Building Through Mentorship. This event takes place from February 14th to March 11th at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Returning artists from the 2020 Futures Rising exhibition mentor emerging artists. Please keep an eye on your email for more DEIC events. Have you registered for any DLIs yet? Our Diversity Leadership Institute holds weekly presentations. Go to spscc.edu/events for more information. We invite you to join South Puget Sound Community College in celebrating Black History Month with an event on February 23rd from 6:30 to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time with Nikki Giovanni as our guest. Please go to spscc.edu/events for more details.
Do one of you want to take away one of the things that we're going to be talking about for this season?
Sure, I can get us started. One of our topics is going to be politics and policy. So this is kind of a reoccurring topic where we take a stab at politics and policies that are either emerging, that we've heard are impactful to the communities that we're a part of and our campus, or politics and policies that we're experiencing within our campus. And so one of the things that we're going to touch on is navigating the internal politics of higher education.
Which I'm super excited about because I think it's something that should continue to be an ongoing conversation. And the wonderful Nicole, what is our next topic?
We're also going to be talking about gaps in higher ed. We had a few suggestions, and that definitely got us talking about all the different gaps that exist. And, when we're talking about statistics, how the numbers will change depending on what's happening. So we're going to be digging into that.
Awesome. So these are our two topics we're covering this quarter. This is a mini season. The reason it's a mini season is because I was looking for a call and we got these two amazing folks. So I had to bring them on board and reshift. But we didn't want to leave y'all hanging. So we definitely will be providing you all two great conversations. We got some great people coming to the table to really give us some really in-depth information about some of the topics that we will be talking about, especially around gaps, which was actually one of the suggestions. Look at that, can never get a break, right? But yeah, so one of the suggestions was gaps, particularly around the fact that those who identify as male are declining in enrollment, as far as degrees and, and things like that. But we wanted to, we want to thank the person for sitting that, because it really opened up the conversation more about, if that's a gap, what are other more gaps? And so we're going to definitely address that. And we got some great people who do this kind of work, and looking at the gaps, how to fill those gaps, what we should be doing. And so we're super excited about that. We will be having a full season in spring, and we're super, super excited. So please make sure you also tune in for spring. As we already know, we're in the middle of the quarter, trying to finish as stress-free as possible, given that we're at the end, we're the middle to finish the end of the stretch, I guess, so to speak. So, as Nicole said, she may have some questions for me, because I know a lot of people tend to, and one day I might end up just doing it live. Like, what questions do you have? I mean, I'm like, oh my God, okay, make sure my job is secure. But
if you want to do it, ask me anything.
Yeah, like, ask me anything. I'm like, you sure you want, so, and the one thing is I'm very honest and clear. And, Erin works for me a lot with, erg, so she knows, she knows that. But yeah, take it away. Is there anything you would like to know or have a question about? Either, both of you. I mean, so.
So I think you mentioned this before, but you do come from like some media or communications background. Is that right?
Yeah. Oh God, you're going to make me really go back to the... So I started as a student in a community college, and so believe it or not, I don't know if you all know Amita Chakrabarty, who is an advisor here. So Amita actually was my supervisor when I was a student, and I worked under her, and which is why we're really close. But I started in digital media communications at Heartland Community College. And with that came graphic design, video production. So all of that I know how to do, and the softwares and stuff. So yeah, I started there. And so back then, I had fun, and then I still stuck with communications, but not so media. Went into more academic, and from there. But yeah, I still from time to time will design logos from here, and I did design my late brother who passed away during COVID. Not from COVID, but definitely during COVID. And I designed his fashion label, and he it's like, can you design mine? I was like, yeah, I didn't. And people know it. Like, when people see it, they're like, yes, that is Llewellyn, that is the, all the things. So I'm thankful, very thankful. Yeah.
Very cool. So were you excited to use some of that background when you started the podcast?
Yes, but scared, because it had been a decade, and I was like, how do I do this again? And so from the designing to, but most of it came from, and a huge shout out to PR, right? I'm like, hey, this is an idea, Parfait approved. Like, yeah, let's, cool, let's do it. So shout out to, definitely Katie and Nasheen and just the team over there in general that supports the podcast, but also helps with a lot of the promoting, and like Sarah Geddes, who's doing all the promo video idea stuff. So gear up for that. We got to be fabulous, when we get ready to come through, which I'm super excited about for the new promo for that. And so yeah.
Go ahead, Erin.
Oh, I was just going to say, what's your favorite conversation been so far, Q?
Ooh, like any of the recordings, like of the episodes?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh.
Maybe you could say one of your favorites. Take the pressure off.
Yeah, it's hard. Yeah. It's hard to pick. They've all been so dynamic.
I would have to say, I'll say this, and I don't know. This one of my favorites. That's literally probably like at the top 3, and they're all good. And I would scratch that. They're all good. So one of my favorites would be the one with my friend who came on to talk a little bit about the Board of Trustees. I don't know if you all had got an opportunity to listen to that one. And the reason that I really wanted the reason that one was amazing to me is because when we're talking about like trying to dismantle, and bring into light how whiteness and white supremacy kind of resurfaces itself, that being a Board of Trustees member is a very powerful position when we're talking about holding our leadership accountable, right? Saying one thing but not fulfilling another, or things like that. So having the conversation about, honestly, this is all what it takes to be able to apply. People don't know that, right? Because it's so secretive, right? Like, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I'm and my honesty is that our institution never really publicizes that information. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you want to, and there's ways in how you have to do it, right? Like, I'm sure you can't, of course, do it here, but like, hey, this school are looking for a board of trustees. Like, if you want to, right?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Like, why wouldn't you share that information with people who's in it working and who may want to participate and have an opportunity to be on there? But unfortunately, it becomes very elite. And so, or who right? So having Sharon on was amazing because she's a woman of color, and she was very adamant. I mean, you probably heard, she's like, if you need me to write you a recommendation, like she was, and she's very serious, by the way. So that was probably one of my favorite ones because it was something that people didn't know.
Yeah, that was very impactful. And it's so cool to be able to learn about and be at least cognitively present in a kind of space like that, if that makes sense. To just be like, wow, this is something I've never thought about before. And here's somebody who is like inviting me in this instance and willing to support me if that's something I wanted to pursue, to be in that kind of a space. Like you said, that's really powerful.
Yeah, that was one of my faves, and excited about what comes ahead for this and where it's going to go, Any other questions? How y'all feeling?
Well, feeling good, feeling excited.
Feeling good. Everyone, please tune in soon. We will be dropping our episodes very, very soon. So check your emails. Make sure you are tuning in because we're super excited to be coming back for a mini season. But more so, we're back full season in spring, and we already have some great things lined up and great conversation. So thank you once again for tuning in to the Unheard Outsider, our soft open introduction to the wonderful folks in the room. Nicole and Erin, email them and please show them some love on campus. You mess with them, you messing with me. So just want to make that clear. But again, have a good one and thank you for tuning in.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
See you later.
We leave you with a quote from Tamika Mallory. too many times in this movement, we are asked to change in order to make other people comfortable. No one ever changes their position to make people of color comfortable, so we were unwilling to do it. Thank you